What's up, boys? It's your boy Jay, the Sports Keg CEO. I'm in for Jimmy again today. Um, Jimmy's still dealing with family issues. All we can do is pray for him and wish him the best for whatever he's going through right now. As for today, it's business as usual. We got one more day left to recoup that money that you just spent on that Thanksgiving dinner. And who better to do that with than Mr. Maxwell Smart, college basketball aficionado, will be with me for the entire hour, breaking down all the games, all the angles to find the edge for you guys tonight. So let's get it going. What's going on, Maxie boy?
Well, it's been an interesting day. The results haven't been going my way as far as the official show picks, but I am watching those live lines, trying to find some winners to recoup some losses, and yeah, it's just one of those days. You know, in the college basketball season, it's a grind. When you have games that are going from 11 a.m. till 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern, you still got to sleep, you still got to eat, you still got to shower. So, I'm adjusting, and we'll get through this feast week, and hopefully tonight we'll pick it back up and recoup some of the losses that we've already incurred today.
Yeah, the ups and downs are inevitable, Max. When you deal with the volume that you deal with on a daily basis, you're going to have incredible days and you're going to have crappy days. It's the business that we're in. So welcome into the boys in the chat. Nick, Deer Slayer, Smart Money, Eric. Everybody will be getting in here. We had an issue with the link, but the good link is up now. So, Rafa, let's put up Max's official record right now, see where we're at. Anything? No record yet? Max, you know your record offhand?
No, not from last night. I apologize.
All right, it's all good. All right, well, we know at the very least that Max is still positive, so.
Yeah, I'm still positive, but I believe that it was down close to like 8 or 9 units just last night. So we'll have to figure out the record and go through the show picks from last night. But I know that it was 8 and 11, I think, on the Twitter official picks, and I think it was like something like 2 and 7 on the edition. So we'll have to go back and double check. Obviously, I make a shitload of bets, and after this, it's like just I need a freaking sip of apple juice and a freaking piece of a cookie. But I'm ready to get into it. Let's just jump right into it, Jay. How do you want to do this today?
All right. So at the end of the show, guys, we'll ask any questions you have, throw them in the chat, and we'll have like a 10 to 15-minute jam session with Max on whatever questions that you have on tonight's game. So let's hop in, Max. I know you posted plays on Twitter. Gonzaga, Southern Miss. The line I've seen anywhere from like Gonzaga minus 24.5 to minus 25.5 right now. Total was around like 138.5 last I saw it. So I know that you have a play on the total in this game. First, I want to know, how do you feel about Marfu's team this year? I mean, we know Hachimura went to the NBA in the offseason. And what I want to know is, how long is Killian Tilly out? And is this a national championship contender without him?
Killian Tilly is back, so he's played 2 games. He's averaged 14 and 6. He's doing his work from the line. His 3-point shots dropping, and he has an over 50% field goal percentage rate. How I look at this team is I think that Mark Few really did a good job recruiting. He did a good job on the transfer market. He did a good job of getting freshmen in. So the 2 guys I really like on this Gonzaga team that Mark Few brought in was Anton Watson, who's a local guy, and Drew Timme. Both guys bring size. Both guys can score the basketball. Free throws are an issue, but these are like high percentage scores. So I expect them to grow into a role with this Gonzaga program and follow the lead that Killian Tilly and Petrusev have led so far this year. I think that this Gonzaga team is head and shoulders better than what Southern Miss can do tonight. And Southern Miss's main advantage is dominating on the glass, being able to win in a rock fight type of game, a junkyard style type game. Well, against the length and size against of Gonzaga, you're not going to have that advantage. So this was a spot where I saw the line go down, and I had to jump right on it because it just didn't make sense. I understand that there are a lot of Gonzaga games have been staying under the 140 range, but you want to hang a 134 in the middle of the day while I'm staring at a screen, that's something I'm going to bet right away.
Okay, so what was the play on the game officially?
The official play was Gonzaga over 134 minus 110.
All right, sweet. Stony Brook, Delaware, next on the slate. They're -4 right now, somewhere around 132 last time I checked. Listen, we see right now Delaware hasn't lost a game this year, right? They come into tonight 6-0. But we know that conference play hasn't started yet. Should Delaware be taken seriously this season? Would you make them the early favorite to win the Colonial?
No, I wouldn't make them the early favorite yet to win the Colonial. I think that there's
Okay.
a bunch of quality teams in that conference. So, no, I wouldn't say that.
All right, so what do you like this game?
So obviously Delaware's been really good to us on the road. They've cashed a bunch of underdog tickets. They've cashed a bunch of overs. And what have they done? They've gone out and beat teams. They've obviously had the emergence of Nate Darling add to the talented backcourt of Kevin Anderson and Ryan Allen. I think tonight this is another game where they're going to be challenged. I think that Stony Brook is a dangerous spot to be betting on. But with the amount of money that I've already made off Delaware, I got to keep on rolling with them. This could be possibly my sixth straight cover with this team, and I think that I definitely have fear of Elijah Olaney. But the fact is, Stony Brook's playing not a lot of guys. They rely on Mikhail Foreman, and Andrew Garcia as well as Oleani. And I think that the main guy for me that needs to come to play is Miles Latimer. If Miles Latimer comes with his free throw shooting, his 3-point shooting, and his ball distribution, I think that that can only be an asset to this team tonight. But I think that Delaware, in their home opener, I think that they're going to freaking lay a number, and I think they're going to cover a number. So I took the -4.5, and I took the over 142.5.
I like that. I'm going to tail that.
Excuse me.
Oklahoma State, Syracuse next up. Syracuse looks to be around -2. Total was like what was 125? I thought I saw. That seems low. We know right now. I know you're really high on Louisville. Obviously, everybody's high on Virginia every year now. Where do you see Syracuse fitting into this conference when it's all said and done? Does Boeheim have a tournament team from what you've seen thus far?
I think that Boeheim has a tournament team, but it always comes down to matchups, and it comes down to how they play in conference. I think that they do have a disadvantage when it comes to the guard spot at the top of the zone, but as long as you can protect the middle, I think that they're going to be fine and be able to work without it. I thought it would be more of a hindrance. It hasn't been so far this year. Elijah Hughes has definitely stepped up. He's got to be your big game scorer, and of course you got the coach's son, Buddy, on the team. So I think that Syracuse tonight is going to be able to throw something at Oklahoma State that they haven't seen yet, and that's the zone. So I think that Oklahoma State has trouble adjusting to it early on. And I think that this team is able to play without the services of point guard Jalen Carey. I thought that would be more of an issue, but Joe Girard stepped in. I do worry about Syracuse at the line when it comes to free throws at the end of the game, but as far as this total goes, this was a spot where I see a team that was going to be able to probably stifle the other team with a defense that they're not used to playing against or practicing for. And I think that Syracuse doesn't want to get into a run and gun type of game, a high scoring game with some low efficiency players on their team. You don't want to make it a free throw game. I think that you want to keep it within the 3-point line and really try and limit possessions of Oklahoma State. We've seen them go on runs. We've seen what freaking guys like Lindsey Waters and Cameron McGriff and Isaac Likely can do. So as far as I'm looking at this play, I think that the under is going to be a good play because I think that they start slow, they pick up in the second half, and I can stay within the 129 that I got earlier at minus 110.
All right, so my question for you is this. I know that you crush line moves overnight. It's your job. But what did you have this game lined at? Because right now, all I see are 125s. So you got the best of the number by 4 points. Is there any value left in this game?
I personally don't think so. And with the way that my edges have been working out the last 48 hours when it comes to unders, I would be hesitant to be looking to get on the other side, getting on the same side as me. I think that I got to do some adjusting with my power ratings and adjust some of my created lines based on what I've already seen. And I think that I'll have a better grip on what's going on and where I'm missing. But right now, I'm a little hesitant to push anyone towards it, even though historically and statistically, this under looks like it's going to come in.
Right. Yeah, that's a fair point because, I mean, you destroyed the line move. So, all right, we'll move on. South Dakota, Cal Baptist. I think Cal Baptist was +1. The line was around 146 the last time that I saw it. I know you're a fan of the WAC. It's been an interesting start to the conference because everyone thus far has been absolutely mediocre to start the year. Right now, you got Utah Valley and Cal Baptist. They have the best records of any team in the conference, but they're both 500. So did you expect such mediocrity right out of the gate from these teams in this conference?
Well, they got bye games. They have all kinds of games against higher quality opponents. So this is a normal thing. That's why you got to try and ignore the win-loss record and really try and get into like the analytics and watch these teams play. That's going to be one of your best tools when you're trying to get to know them.
So what do you like in this game?
So as far as this game, Jay, I'm on the under in this game. It's a pretty simple spot for me. I took the under 147 at -105. And what I'm thinking about this game is South Dakota can be very efficient offensively, but they have a lack of depth. So if they get into any kind of foul trouble, their scoring production from guys like Hagedorn and Tristan Simpson and Stanley Umuti become even more a defense is easily able to focus on that one guy with another guy sitting on the bench. I haven't seen a lot of other guys on the South Dakota team, and I've watched a couple games of them so far this year, that I think that can come out and start to lead the scoring. Maybe the little bit of potential from Cody Kelly, but he's going to stay on the floor with foul trouble. And the same thing with Tyler Peterson. So I look for the home team tonight to be able to take care of some business. This is a home team in Cal Baptist that's coming off a 69-60 loss to Georgia State, and I think that they had a poor shooting performance from Malanakua and Farron Flavors Jr. These are guys that average close to 32 points a game together, and I expect them to have a better offensive performance. But Cal Baptist wins games with playing defense, playing perimeter defense, winning on the glass, and protecting the rim with a guy like DeJohn Davis. I expect California Baptist to throw the ball into him a lot tonight. He's coming off a 20-12 game. If he can bring that kind of offensive efficiency, he'll drain the shot clock and increase the time possession for Cal Baptist and help us get this under. But it's going to be all about Cal Baptist shutting down South Dakota because we've seen them be offensively willing to throw up shots and be able to score points like in their game against SIU and Texas Southern, but I do expect them to have a more scoring type game like against Arkansas, getting maybe over 65 points and around there.
See, this is what people on social media take for granted about you, Max. And to the guys in the chat, it is not normal to crush every single line move, day after day after day. The kid is on the right side of the line by multiple points every game on the board. That's what's like. Even I miss sometimes in the NFL, as strong as I am in it. Like that's what's great about you, bro. You're on the right side of the market move every single night. Really. That's why it's really important for you guys to check Max's Twitter at Maxwell Smart 420 overnight, because he starts throwing these lines out for tomorrow tonight. And if you want to get the line that he gets and the best line possible, you have to go to his Twitter account. It's the only way. All right, Max, moving on. Hofstra, San Diego. I think the game's around the pick, total around 143 right now. I've got a soft spot for Hofstra. Obviously, I'm a Johnny's fan, but Hofstra's a local team. We know that Justin Wright Foreman, he's no longer on the team. Where does that leave Hofstra right now? I know they have Jalen Ray, Eli Pemberton playing well right now, but is it well enough to overcome the loss of Foreman? Here they sit 4-2 to start the year. They come into the game on a 3-game winning streak. How do you feel they're playing right now?
Listen, I cashed with them against UCLA. I've watched this Hofstra team. I have a good feel for what they can do, and I think against a certain opponent, that's where we can capitalize. I think as a side perspective, before I jump into my play on the total, I think that Hofstra has to win this game by the numbers. I think the only way that they don't win this game is if San Diego brings improved field goal defense, and we got to remember that this is a team that allows teams to shoot 44% from the field. I think that both teams got to bring defense, and I think that's going to be the focus of both coaches. 3-point defense is good for both teams. I think that's a key critical matter, and neither of these teams are really that dangerous from three. Hofstra made a lot more threes than the double digits pretty much every game last year. Now they're struggling to hit 7 or 8. Same thing with San Diego. San Diego loses so much offensive production, puts a lot more reliance on guys like Braun Hartsfield. I don't think that Braun Hartsfield is the typical Olin Carter or any of the past San Diego Toros. I think also you got to put a lot of pressure on a guy like Joey Calcaterra, who is going to shoot a lot of threes. And if the three isn't dropping, that's a lot of missed possessions, a lot of defensive rebounds, and hopefully Hofstra's playing at a slow enough pace and San Diego's able to get back in defense that we're able to get this under. I got under 145. I know you just said it's at 143. This is a game where I just see an emphasis on defense. I see that Hofstra's able to win this game, but have to win it ugly. And I don't think that they're going to have the type of margin that they did against UCLA. And as far as I'm concerned, I've pre-bet the Hofstra money line as soon as it came out this morning, and the under was the play that I felt good enough about making official for the show.
What was the total that you set this game at?
I set it at 142.5. So at 145, I had barely enough edge to get on it. And when I see a 2.5 point edge on a created line, I bet it pretty much every time. It hasn't worked out the last 24 hours, but you know what it is.
All right, Max. So now let's have some fun. Let's start making additions to your card. Where do we start?
Well, it's not that I really want to make that many additions. A lot of the plays that I wanted to make have moved already, and we wouldn't be able to get to the best of the line, so I don't really want to lay it. One play that I am looking at and I want to release for the show is the Cal State Fullerton under. This hasn't moved a lot since the morning. It's open at 136. It's down to 135. I think that this is a number that you guys can still get on with me. We can make official for the show. These are a Cal State Fullerton, Southeast Missouri State team that struggled to score 30 points and a half. I think obviously we got to be a little worried about what happens in the second half as far as scoring wise. But these are two teams that don't score over 30% from the 3-point line. They don't shoot over 70% from the free throw line. And there's major turnover issues with both of them. Neither have a team assist turnover ratio over 1, and that gives me confidence that mistakes are going to happen, sloppy plays are going to happen, stepping on the end line, stepping on the 3-point line. And neither of these teams are mainly concerned with shooting threes. So as far as I'm concerned, on an under, when it comes to something like that, I don't really want to get on unders on teams that are shooting 30 threes a game or 25 threes a game. I think that it's a manageable number between 15 and 20 for both these teams, and I expect them to play better 3-point defense against poor shooting 3-point offense.
So you want to go under 135 in the Cal State Fulton game. Best line at bookmaker minus 110.
Yes, please.
All right, buddy. So do you want to just go down the slate, start at the beginning, and take questions if there aren't that many additions, or do you have anything else that you want to look specifically at first?
Yeah, I want to look. There's 4 games I want to look at specifically first, and then we're gonna jump right into questions, and then I may
All
add
right.
some more depending on how I feel.
All right, brother. Where are we going?
Okay, so we're gonna go to this LaSalle game, and we're gonna go against USA, University of South Alabama. I'm a big fan of this University of South Alabama team. I like what they have on the roster. I like the depth that they have, and I like the front court that they have, and it's shown in the last couple games. I think obviously with this LaSalle team, we gotta show them a little bit of respect because they keep on covering goddamn numbers. And Jay, if you can give me a live number on it right now, I'd appreciate that. This isn't a LaSalle team that is going to be really flashy with guys like Ed Croswell coming in trying to do the dirty work. This is a team in LaSalle that definitely relies on a bunch of different guys in Saul Fury, Scott Spencer, and David Beatty, but I just can't go against them. They play fantastic 3-point defense at 27%. This is a neutral site game, obviously, so we have to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. But I think LaSalle wins with defense tonight, and I think they're able to stay within the number if I can get 4.5 or 5 points.
Right now, the best line I can get you sidewise, Pinnacle +5 minus 105.
Yeah, I'll take that, Jay.
Okay. Do you want to look at the total as well, or just side?
No, just a side, please.
All right. LaSalle +5 minus 105. All right, you got it, brother. Where are we going?
All right, so we're going to this George Mason, New Mexico State championship game. This is a simple play for me. I'm taking the dog. I'm taking George Mason. I also have a lean towards the over. It's a championship game. I think points are going to get scored. The fact is, when it comes to who these teams have played in order to get to this championship game, I like Nebraska and Old Dominion better than I like USF and Colorado State. I think that George Mason has a lot of different elements to their offense that they can beat you with. Both these teams have an advantage against the other team's disadvantage. New Mexico State has the advantage where they have better depth than George Mason. On a third game and third day in 3 days, that can play into it. The other advantage, the advantage for George Mason over New Mexico State is I believe that their consistency of their scores and the different levels that they can score at are better than New Mexico State. I think that there's a heavy reliance for New Mexico State with Terrell Brown and Trevelyan Queen, and we saw from the last game against what's it called? Against USF, that Queen didn't come on until about 5 minutes in the second half, scoring wise, where he hit 3 threes in a row. I think you need a full good effort from him, and he's got to stay out of foul trouble, only playing 15 minutes and scoring 10 points. George Mason, I am very impressed with this freshman, Jamal Hartwell II. I think that he's another version of Otis Livingston Jr. And then you add on Jordan Miller. He's long, he's athletic. I've talked about him before. He gets on the glass, he gets to the line. And I think that those two guys are going to be the catalyst tonight for George Mason's offense. And I think that they can win this championship. And I like them to stay within 5.5 points or 6 if I can get it, Jay.
Best line that I see for you right now, Max, is Pinnacle 5 dimes plus 5.5 at -102. And I know you said that you had a lean on the over. The best line there is 128.5 at Heritage -105.
Yeah, I'm not going to make the total official because it's going the other way compared to where my line was.
So you want that 5.5 at 5 dimes?
Yes, please.
All right. Now my question is, you sound pretty confident. Do you think it's worth like a money line sprinkle at plus 5.5? You probably get nice money there, somewhere around plus $2, I would think.
I'll find my way onto it 100%, but for the show purposes, I'm not going to give it out. I think that it's a championship game. We've seen George Mason go in and win. That's all they've done this year. So why not give them a shot? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh,
that's
and
fair.
just to let you know, I goddamn pushed on that Wright State first half -1. Sucks.
There's always a game ending or starting, bro. With at nighttime when we're in the video chats, it's a roller coaster, man. It's a roller coaster. All right, where are we going next?
Okay, so this is the last game that I want to add right now. It's going to be the Sanford South Dakota State game. So this is a game where I'm looking at Sanford and I'm trying to gauge whether or not this is a team that I want to trust on the first half, and they're not. This is a game where I'm going to be taking South Dakota State on the first half. Jay, can you look up a best line that you can get for me right now? This is a spot where I have a lot of faith in South Dakota State and what Doug Wilson can do with this team. I think first off, what Sanford has done has been very inconsistent. They've cost me money, and I think that I may not like them anymore. No, I'm joking. It's not anything to do with that. But I'm really impressed with Doug Wilson, what he's been able to do, shooting 60% from the field. Brandon Key's been able to step up. He's the best free throw shooter that gets the ball in his hands the most. Matt Dellinger, obviously he's going to be shooting close to the bucket, but he's a good assist man also. I think that's going to be important for this team to share the ball tonight against the Sanford team and to limit turnovers. Turnovers are the biggest hindrance for this team. Between Brandon Key and Doug Wilson, they have 51 combined turnovers. That's just unacceptable, even through 8 games. And I think that's going to have to improve at home tonight. Definitely have to take into consideration that they have played some fucking top-tier opponents. Arizona for one. So I'll give them a pass on that. I think that with their free throw shooting, I think that with the hopefully decent 3-point defense, it's going to be the key to this game. I think you got to limit the turnovers, force the turnovers on the other side, use your home court advantage. And for Sanford, you got to shut down Josh Sharkey, Robert Allen, and Brandon Austin. I'm a little worried about this game from a full game perspective. I think that Sanford could cover full game. But as far as the first half, South State's a spot, and I like a number if it's good enough.
Best number I can get you is at Bookmaker right now, -2.5 at -112.
2.5 -112. No, sorry, I'll pass on that.
Okay, pass on that. All right, no worries.
All right, let's go right into questions now then, Jay.
All right, well, there aren't that many games, and everybody's shouting out like all the games basically. So you want me to just go right down the list?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it, unless we've already talked about it, of course.
Right. Okay. 6 o'clock start. It just started 3 minutes ago, but I'm sure people will be able to get on it live if given the opportunity. South Carolina, Northern Iowa opens up -1.5 South Carolina. It is still there because the game hasn't started yet. And the total right now is 126 or 126.5 based on your preference. Anything in this game, a lean?
Yeah, if I was playing this game, I have not bet it either way. I would be taking Northern Iowa. I have more faith in AJ Green and Spencer Heiderman to rebound from their 4 for 25 shooting performance yesterday, and I think that Isaiah Brown can get his shot. It's just going to be a matter for this Northern Iowa team when it comes to fouls. South Carolina wants to play at a faster pace, but they're not efficient enough offensively to be doing it. I think that UNI can win at the free throw line. I think coming off that game against West Virginia yesterday built them up for a win today. I think they get it done today. I'll be looking to bet UNI live.
Okay, so Max will be looking to bet UNI live. I like that info. Niagara and Purdue Fort Wayne. Line opens up Purdue Fort Wayne -9. It's now, wow, it is now anywhere from 8.5 to 10 on your book. And the total opens 146, is now somewhere between 147 at Bet Online and 149 at Pinnacle. The numbers are all over the board in this game, Max.
Yeah, this is a game where I was looking towards the under, but now that I've seen this line movement, I'm going to pause and take a step back. Niagara's a team that definitely can do their job when it comes to the free throw line, and so can IPFW. IPFW shooting 40% from the three-point line, and that's going to be Niagara's main job in stopping. And we've seen already this season, the Niagara team is not talented, but Greg Paulus has his team playing some decent basketball when it comes to covering spreads. Let's remember that we lost a game with them when it comes to the Rutgers game. They weren't able to cover the 21.5, but they were able to cover against Stephen F. Austin. They covered 11.5 points. They covered 9.5 points against Drexel. This is a Niagara team that can be stingy. They're coming off a 11-point loss versus Bryant, but I gotta say that if I was looking to get in this spot, I'd have to be looking at the over. Two teams that shoot the three a fair amount, two teams that can hit 7 out of 10 free throws in each game. And James Towns for Niagara, coming off a decent offensive game, I think that maybe he can carry it over, and that just puts a lot more pressure on Matt Hoba. Listen, IPFW hits 10 3-point shots a game. That's going to be key for them. Neither team actually gets the line that much, but I think that with the type of shooting that we're going to see and the quantity of it, especially with 45% of IPFW's shots coming from the three-point line, we're going to see some points in this game. This line move has definitely pushed me off the under, and I'm just going to sit back and watch it. As far as the side, I've been looking at IPFW, even though the line's moved against them, and that's about it.
Okay. Next game we have Norfolk State Monmouth. Line opens Monmouth -4. It is now anywhere between -6.5 and -7. Total opens up 126. It's now up as high as 127.5. Any look here?
Yeah, this is a spot where I'm looking actually at Monmouth first half and Norfolk State full game. Why I'm looking at it like this is because Norfolk State played a game yesterday, and so did Radford. The difference was, Monmouth played a game yesterday. The difference was Monmouth played Radford. Norfolk State played Caldwell. Caldwell's a D2 school, and they beat Norfolk State by 10. So I'm I'm having a little bit of a freaking problem because I want to take Norfolk State in the full game in this spot. But then when I looked deeper into it and I saw this Caldwell loss, I also realized that they were playing their best players. Like Jermaine Bishop, Stephen Whitley, and Joe Bryant were all on the floor for close to 30 minutes in that game, and they lost by 10. So maybe they were looking ahead to this game, but I just don't know now. and I was going to give it as a play on the show. I was going to take Monmouth first half after that impressive defensive performance against Radford last night, locking down Carlick Jones and Travis Fields Jr. And I was going to freaking take Norfolk to adjust at halftime and then have a little bit of better shooting performance. But now I'm completely bewildered and afraid to give out a play on it completely. Um, I think that
Be
I'll find my way onto Monmouth for my own accounts, but to tell anybody to take Norfolk State full game now, it would be just crazy.
bewildered is not the first thing that comes to mind when I'm handicapping sports. I love the vocabulary though.
Well, I
All
tried
right.
there for you, Jay.
Hartford, MSU. Line opens up MSU minus 17.
SMU.
That's now up. Yeah, that's what I said. SMU. What'd I say?
No, you said MSU, but yeah.
Oh, my bad. SMU. Opens up at 17. Now as high as minus 20.5. As far as the total, opens 128.5 and is now as low as 126.5. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is a game where obviously I was looking towards the under with Hartford playing to a lot of unders already this season, only averaging 66 points. And that includes 2 games that have inflated their stats against D2 opponents. So, as far as this side, I want to take SMU, but I've missed the best of the line. I want to jump on with Isaiah Mike. And of course, with the emergence and the now eligible Kendrick Davis, who's coming off a 7 for 13, 21-point game, I think that the Southern Methodist team can probably beat Hartford by 20 to 25 points tonight. It's just now I've got the ass end of the line, and we've learned from betting over the years that it's probably not smart to take it. I'm impressed with SMU at the free throw line. I'm impressed with SMU when it comes to 3-point defense, and I really like the fact that they can do a big piece of work on the rebounding glass, on the offensive glass, specifically against Hartford. With Miroslav Staffel, he's a 6'10" guy. He's a big guy, but he gets into foul trouble. He's probably their best front court piece, and I think that now with Kendrick Davis to go along with Tyson Jolly, you have a lot of different offensive weapons. I think SMU smokes them. I'm not betting it. I would be looking towards the under, and I'm not betting that either because I missed the best of the number.
All right, we touched on Stony Brook, Delaware, South Alabama, LaSalle. We covered George Mason, Southeast Missouri State, Cal State Fullerton. We covered 883, 884, Alcorn State and Arkansas Little Rock. Total opens up at 130. It's now as high as 133. And the number opens up at Arkansas Little Rock minus 15, and it's basically stayed there. I see 15.5s right now across the board. What do you like?
Yeah, I feel like the books are trying to tempt us to take Arkansas Little Rock on the spread. I think after last night's game against St. Francis, New York, where they did not cover the 13 points but won by 11, people definitely are going to want to jump on this. As far as an edge on this game, I don't have a strong edge on it. I did make a bet on the over on the opener at 130. I took the over. I think that both these teams shoot good free throws. I think both these teams are susceptible to field goal defense. With Alcorn State specifically, they are actually allowing teams to score 54% from the field. I like Deshaun Andrews. I like Alonzo Campbell. I like Corey Tilley for Alcorn State. I think against Little Rock, they're going to have opportunities to score. And I think that if Marquise Noel can come through with another 28-point performance, we're going to be able to sail over this over. Even if we don't, and this game's close, I think Alcorn State fouls at the end. Little Rock goes to the line and hopefully gets us over that way. There's a small advantage for Little Rock rebounding that I identified. But as far as like a major advantage, I think that it's just Little Rock has played better competition. And I think that with that, they're going to be able to play a little more loose tonight against Alcorn State. Both these teams have gone over or under, and I think tonight Little Rock starts to even up that record. And just the number, when I see a 130 with Little Rock, sometimes it would scare some people off, but they haven't played too many games in this range. And the problem with overs that I've had with Little Rock have been in the 145 to like 150 range. We're talking 130, so I'm confident with it.
All right, 747, 748. Pittsburgh Northwestern. 64% of the tickets are on Pittsburgh at SBRodds.com. The line opens up -2. It's now Pittsburgh -3.5. You can find threes out there. And the total opens at 119 and is now as low as 118. Were you expecting a total this low for these two teams?
Yeah, I was, and I took the over in this game. I think that these are teams that are going to be able to get their offense against each other. I think that Ryan Murphy, Xavier Johnson, and Trey McGowan, that's a good trio of perimeter offensive contributors that you have on one side, and then you got the emergence of Ryan Young, Pete Nance, and Pat Spencer, the lacrosse player, coming off a 23-point game. So I think that this team definitely has some upset potential for Northwestern when I'm speaking about. But as far as the total, this is a game where I think that both these guys are able to get some. I think that you have to take into consideration that they do average close to where this total is when it comes to defensively. But I think that this game sneaks over, like when I sneak up the stairs to watch the local pipe fixers take off for the day, I think it's going to sneak over.
Oh, no.
But when it comes to Pitt, I think that free throw shooting is going to be an advantage for them. I think that both these teams realize 3-point shooting is not their strength. Their best opportunity is to try and take it to the bucket, use that extra space that's available in the lane in the paint now because of the 3-point line being moved back, and do a solid job on the defensive rebounding glass and get yourself in transition. I think we're going to get the points. I think now that they have a game or two on these rims, I think that helps also with sight lines. And the way that Northwestern played yesterday against Bradley gives me confidence on this over.
Me and you last night, we were in a video chat like we'll be tonight. First thing you said to me when we were watching that West Virginia game last night was Wichita State is going to beat this team tomorrow. Now we see Wichita State, West Virginia, 60% of the tickets on Wichita State. The line opens +1 and it's still +1. The total opens 128. It's now 127 basically across the board. Do you still feel the same way you did last night, Max?
I still feel the same way, but I'm kind of a little feeling tragic right now because a lot of people feel the same way. I think that this Wichita State team has a lot of flair when it comes to defensive intensity, perimeter defense, and playing defense without fouling. Good closeout defenders, and that's been exhibited by both these teams. Both these teams are good at playing defense. Let's be frank with that. West Virginia is not pressing as much, but they're doing a good job of getting back, getting into the half-court set, and really stopping teams from scoring in transition against them. I think that we saw South Carolina try and speed up Wichita State. It did not work yesterday. I think that West Virginia is an opponent that Wichita's going to have to fear and bring their A game for. And I also think that it's going to be key for a guy like Trey Wade to really have a big game. This is the leader of this team now. I think that with him and a guy like Dexter Dennis and Eric Stevenson, I think that they're going to be critical. But West Virginia is no small task. My guy Jermaine Haley, my fellow Canadian from Vancouver, BC, he's running this team, and I think that when you have Oscar Tshiebwe and Derek Culver on the glass, you really have to bang out with these guys. I think Wichita State's up to the challenge tonight. Wichita State would be the play that I'm looking at, and I think that they win this at the free throw line. That's going to be the difference in the game.
All right, this school's 20 minutes from my house. I am a fan of them. Seton Hall, Oregon, number 11 against number 13. Line opens up Seton Hall plus 1.5, and you can still get ones. There are 1.5s and ones basically across the board. Total opens at 139. You can get it as low as 137 at Pinnacle right now. It's pretty close, 51% on Oregon, 49% on Seton Hall. Is Seton Hall live to win this game tonight?
Listen, Seton Hall has some very nice advantages, but they don't have that advantage against Oregon. Against most teams, Seton Hall can throw out 3 guys between 6'10" and 7 foot. Well, against Francis Okoro and company for Oregon, they got the size to play with them. And I think that it's going to really come down to how the guard play for this Oregon team comes out tonight. You got some elite players on both sides in this game. It makes it hard for me to get on the side. But when you got Peyton Pritchard on one side, the best point guard in the nation, Anthony Mathis, one of the hardest three-point shooters in the last 2 years. You got the best JUCO transfer in Chris Duarte. You got Shakir Juicing coming over from freaking UNLV. There's a lot of pieces that have come together with one of the top 5 coaches in college basketball, Dana Altman. I think coaching matters in this matchup. I think home court would matter in this matchup. I think that it being on a neutral site favors Seton Hall. I think that the time, I think that the location will be advantageous to Oregon. I think that more Ducks fans show up. I think that the problem for Seton Hall tonight will be who can support Miles Powell, because Miles Powell is not going to be able to do it all against the length of guys like Chris Duarte, against length of Anthony Mathis. So as far as I'm concerned, it's Oregon or pass for me, and that's how I feel about it.
How dare you? How dare you pick against Seton Hall?
Listen,
All right, we got
I like
3
Seton
more
Hall in the game
games.
against Michigan State. Miles Powell single-handedly brought them back, coming back from an ankle injury. It was goddamn inspiring. It made me appreciate college basketball. But this is a matchup of A tier versus A tier, and they're gonna clash. And you got to pick one side. I got to go with the Quack City, baby. Let's go Ducks.
Fair enough. All right, 3 more games, and then we have covered the entire board. That's why Max is a beast. Portland State, UC Santa Barbara. 66% of the tickets right now on Portland State. Opens up plus 8.5. But the line goes down, Max. Right now, there are 8.5s on the board, but there is also an 8 on the board. So while the ticket count is in favor of Portland State, UC Santa Barbara must be getting some considerable money. The total opens 151 and is still 151. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, this is a real tough game. I bet the under full game because I believe that we're going to get a UC Santa Barbara type game and not a Portland State type game. What do I mean by that? Well, Portland State wants to run and gun with you. They want to score a shit ton of points, and they've proven that by going over in all 5 games this year. But when they're going up against UC Santa Barbara, this is a team that they can score the basketball with you, but they can also lock you down. And seeing an opponent with an advantageous situation like that, I think that there's going to be a main priority of the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos tonight to lock down defensively on Portland State. I think that you cannot allow Holland Woods and Matt Hauser to go off. These are 2 guys that are averaging close to 35 points a game for you, and they do it in different ways. Holland Woods is a volume shooter. Matt Hauser will get to the bucket and throw up a 3. I think that my fellow Canadian, Alonzo Walker, he's the X factor for this Portland State team tonight. He's coming off a 15 and 10 game. He's from Scarborough, and I'm a big fan of what he's done so far this season. He's had 6 or 7 games where he's had double digits, flirted with double doubles in 4 or 5 of them. He's limiting his turnovers, aside from a couple games, specifically the Hawaii game, but that was a sloppy game to begin with. And I think that with UC Santa Barbara, you have so many goddamn weapons. You got an emerging 6'10" weapon in Matt Freeman, the Oklahoma transfer. You got Amadou Sal, the sophomore freaking phenom, coming off a 27-point, 10-rebound game, and then you just got a freaking bunch of guards. Ja'Cory Ramsey has definitely fallen out of favor, but you still got Corey McLaughlin, Max Heidegger, and Brandon Cyrus, the Paul transfer. So this UC Santa Barbara team is the team I'm betting on tonight. I'm taking the -8. I'm going with the money. I like the line dropping. I hope it drops again. I'll hit it again. I think UC Santa Barbara wins this game at home, and that 3-1 ATS record becomes 3-2 for Portland State.
I'll bet that game solely off the confidence in your voice alone. All right, we got two more games. We got nightcaps, 11 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. San Jose State, Oregon State. Line opens up. Oregon State -21 and a hook. Right now, 20 across the board. And the total opens up 144, and it's 143 across the board. These two nightcap games, is this a spot to get right? Should the boys be down tonight?
Listen, I'm real interested in this San Jose State Oregon State game because it's on a neutral site. I really like that for both these teams. I think that's going to be advantageous for both of us. My issue with this game from a total perspective is San Jose State shoots maybe, I don't even know, 20-something% from the three-point line, under 60% from the free throw line. Same deal with Oregon State, but Oregon State can hit threes, and they got offensive weapons like Trey Tinkle and Ethan Thompson. I think that it's just a matter of Oregon State wanting to win this game by margin, and if they do, they're going to. Simple as that. It's a number that I definitely like a little more now that it's come down, and it's a total that I like towards the over because it's gone up. I think that this is a fair value. I think that obviously both these teams have had a couple days off. Both of them are coming off interesting games where Oregon State had 80 against Grambling. Portland State scored 76 against, San Jose scored 76 against Portland State but gave up 91. I think that they have the common opponent in Grambling, and I think that because of that, I'd be looking towards the over. I think that Oregon State leads the offense, and I think that San Jose State does enough to get us over the total.
All right, last game of the night, Max. Virginia Tech, BYU. Virginia Tech opens up -2, now -1.5, basically across the board. The total opens up 136.5, and you can get anywhere from 136.5 at Pinnacle to 135 at Bet Online. Last game of the night, my friend. What's the look in this game?
Yeah, this is a scary spot for me because my initial lean was to BYU, but now that we're seeing where the ticket action's going and how the line has moved also, the total has moved also, it gives me a little bit of pause. This is a game that I'm actually going to take a little bit more time with. My initial lean would be to BYU in the over. I do think that BYU doesn't have as much trouble with the size of Virginia Tech like they had against Kansas last night. And I also am hesitant to recommend the over right now just because this is going to be the third game in 3 days. They're on Hawaii time. They're enjoying the sun. And it's just not a spot that I feel too strongly about right now. I do think, however, Jake Toolson rebounds from his 7-point performance last night. But right now, I don't have a play either way on the side or total that I'm willing to give out to you guys.
All right, well, it is that time of the show, the time that you hate the most. Give me that play of the day.
Well, Jay, this is obviously a very troubling time for me. I literally dread this every day. I'm like, oh no, it's that stupid play of the day. I'm a volume player. I play a bunch of bets so I don't have to make a goddamn fucking volume play. Well, I'm going to do it for my low baggers, for everybody that's in the chat right now, that everybody that's here supporting Jimmy and the show and me while we're trying to hold it down for him. I'm going to go with Oregon. I'm going to take Oregon -1, -110. I think that they win this game tonight. Simple as that. I like what Peyton Pritchard does as a point guard. I like the fact that the supporting cast is more offensively consistent. I do note that Seton Hall does have that great size advantage in the front court. but I think that it comes down to how much you can spread the ball around and how many different weapons can come out to play in one game. And I think I got to go with Oregon in this game. I'm going to make Oregon my play of the day. Hopefully, we go 2-0 with Oregon as the play of the day, and we get it done. And we have a better nightcap than we did in the day. Hope that you guys stick with me. Hope that you guys tune in for the show tomorrow. I appreciate you guys all tuning in tonight. And I will try my best every day, obviously, to lift the unit count and not put you guys in the poorhouse.
There you have it. Maxwell Smart breaks down every college basketball game on the board, guys. That's just what the kid does. He's that good. Before we go, two things. One, we're all thinking of Jimmy right now. We hope everything is going well with him and his family. He loves you guys and loves this betting community. He will be back here as soon as he possibly can. And for those of you that celebrate Thanksgiving, the holiday in the States, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. It's a great time to take a step back and realize what you're thankful for in life. I know sometimes, especially in this game, if you are on a cold streak or life has you down, it's very easy to hate the world and take certain things for granted. But I just wanted to take the time to say, I'm thankful for my family. They support me in this racket. They thought I was absolutely out of my mind 6 years ago to leave my job and start making a living every day, paying my bills, sports betting. Now they see how well I do and everything's good. I'm thankful for SBR taking a shot on a guy that not many people knew, but they saw me and they saw how my team proved ourselves 7 days a week for a year. And profitability and presenting yourself in a certain way matters. And it's worked out really well for everybody. So I'm thankful for you guys, especially. Listen, man, we bet money, we bet large volumes of money, but the most important commodity in life is not money. It is your time, because we only have so much time while we're here. And the fact that you guys take the time to watch this show and support Jimmy and Max, or you guys watch Live Line and support me and the guys at the Sports Keg, it means the world to me. It means more to me than you'll ever truly know. So if you're stuffed tomorrow on Turkey Day, tomorrow night, you got all the trimmings, Max, Flash, and myself. We will have a special Turkey Day edition of Live Line for the game tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. If you're free and you guys want to come and hang out, that's where we'll be making money. When you're paying to feed 20 people, you got to make that money back, man. So catch me tomorrow on Live Line. Catch Max in the morning tomorrow, right, Max? Is that the case?
Yep, I will be on the morning show with Bo Bano, Hamilton's finest, Ian Cameron, and I am goddamn looking forward to working with that beautiful gent.
So yeah, I'll be on. I'll hop on for 10 minutes with Ian tomorrow just to break down a couple NFL games. Max will take you guys home the rest of the way, and I'll see you tomorrow night on Live Line with Max and Flash. Have a happy Thanksgiving, guys, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Later.